Respect from the boss, something he seems to have in Miami. He claims what finally got him out of San Francisco was his demand to be moved to wide receiver. Others feel it was his alleged troublemaker personality.
You try to find out as much as you can about a player, and then you have to take a chance, and that's what we did on McKyer, and you know, we're hoping that he comes through for us. That's the reason we made the trade, is because we think he's a quality corner.
The Dolphins felt they made a pretty good deal when they gave up a 2nd and 11th round draft choice to get McKyer. Aside from his physical skills, he brings a sort of punky cockiness that can incite a defense. And it hasn't taken long for his presence to be felt here.
I think he's a great cover guy. He's the kind of guy that can come up with a big play, you know, interceptions and make the big play on 3rd down if you have to, and that's what we need defensively.
We haven't been in the playoffs, and he's been to the Super Bowl twice and won it, and that gives us, you know, gives the players a lot of, you know, motivation to have somebody on our team like that.
We think that Tim has the leadership qualities that are perhaps missing a bit from our team. He's brash. He says what's on his mind. He's cocky, but I think we need a bit of that in our team.
Everything's against you. The odds are stacked against you. People come to see you get burned. People come to see offense score a touchdown. And you're at the negative end of that, so that's why everything from you has to come positive.
Miami now has McKyer, and they hope he'll help give the young Dolphin defense the direction it needs. In Miami, Chris Myers, ESPN.
Thanks, Chris. Remember, the NFL season kick.
Sports over the last 2 decades, 20 years of memorable Dolphin teams. Yet the magic has been missing lately. 4 long years since they've reached postseason play. Miami came within a game of the playoffs last season, and they hope to complete the task this year on the cannon arm of Dan Marino. And under the watchful eyes of Patriarch Don Shula. The Dolphins' last playoff loss was to New England in the Patriots' Super Bowl year of '85. The Patriots stopped the Dolphins under the guidance of defensive coordinator Rod Rust. Now the head coach asked to lead the team back into contention. Rust and his Patriots, Shula and Marino, hoping to return to past glories as the new season begins.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots.
A pleasant 67 degrees at Foxborough Stadium. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath ready to bring you the Dolphins and the Patriots, 2 teams with conflicting opening day records. The Miami Dolphins have lost their last 5 openers. New England has won 6 in a row. Here's the New England kickoff. Kenny Higgs takes it at the 6-yard line for the Dolphins. Higgs with a seam takes it all the way to the 36-yard line. Good return by Mark Higgs, and the Dolphins bring their offensive unit onto the field. Mosey Tatupu, the special teams leader of the New England Patriots, with the tackle. Here's the Dolphins starting offensive line. Watch the rookies, Webb and Sims, on Marino's blind side. Marino hopes to bounce back from a subpar 89. Banks replaces an injured Mark Clayton. Smith, the only running threat. Tight end Edmonds made the Pro Bowl a year ago. Now when the Dolphins go to 4 wide receivers, Andre Brown and Tony Martin replace Edmonds and Smith. Was a penalty on the kickoff, which was declined by the Dolphins. They'll put it into play from their own 36-yard line. Dan Marino ready to start his 8th season in a Dolphin uniform. That's Banks in motion. In the I formation, tailback Smith with a big hole up the middle, pounds into Patriot territory, all the way to the 46-yard line before the safeties Roland James and Fred Marion stop him. A 17-yard gain on the Dolphins' first play.
Right behind the big rookie left tackle and rookie left guard, Sims. Look at this hole. I mean, Tony Page just throws a block of 95 Reynolds, and that's going to be Page's big asset for these Dolphins, blocking.
The Dolphins have been looking to establish a running game, balance in their offense, and they get a good gainer on that first running play. Smith again has good yardage just short of the 40-yard line before he's stopped by outside linebacker Vincent Brown. That one an 8-yard gain. Let's take a look at that New England starting defense. And, of course, it bears the stamp of Rod Rust. Williams led the team in sacks last year. Agnew, the 10th player taken in this year's draft. And, of course, Tippett returns after missing all of 1989 with a shoulder injury. Lepet is also back. And in that secondary, when the Pats go to their dime, the Frenchman Tardit's in at linebacker with Coleman and Robinson also in. second down play for the Dolphins. Tony Page with his first carry has a first down, tripped up inside the 35-yard line of New England. Ray Agnew, the rookie out of North Carolina State, managed to trip up Tony Page, who was an off-season Plan B acquisition for the Dolphins from Detroit.
Page, as we mentioned, is an excellent blocker, but he can carry that pigskin too. He's got a lot of weight and strength hitting up in those holes. I was a little surprised to see him go wide that time.
Opening series of the game, the Dolphins have advanced it to the 34 of New England. This is first down. Play action pass. Marino's first is complete to Page. Page dives to the 20-yard line and a Dolphin first down, 14 yards on the gain before Ronnie Lepet makes the tackle.
Well, folks, when you get a running game going, you get those couple of big runs going, that defense has to suck up there. Those guys get anxious on defense, and they bite for this play action fake. They lose the ball, and Tony Page faked the block, got wide open out there. That's the kind of football these Dolphins want to play. They want to be able to run the ball and mix the pass in as well.
The Patriots 0-4 in the preseason. They were pounded in exhibition play, and right now the Dolphins have a good drive going. First down at the Patriot 20. Smith, no room there, hit at the line of scrimmage and driven back by Johnny Rembert. Rembert, who has been to the Pro Bowl 2 straight years, met Smith that time shortly after he got the football.
Take a look at number 52, Rembert, filling that hole on the inside. These are the fellas that have to make the tackles for the Patriots, the inside linebackers. The nose tackle Gold will occupy the center, but Rembert is expected to have a big day in there along with Reynolds.
Tim Gold, the nose tackle for the Patriots, was telling us yesterday that this is a completely new defensive scheme for them this year. He said it's a 360-degree turnaround from the defense a year ago. Brian Kinchin into the game for the Dolphins as Marino fires complete inside the 15-yard line to Fred Banks. Banks, the 5-year veteran out of Liberty, made the reception there after getting the start in place of the injured Mark Clayton today. Andre Tippett on the tackle.
Tippett on the tackle. I was a little surprised to see the Dolphins in the shotgun already on second down, and their running plays had been working. You'd think that they might come back with the run or even a play action pass, but going to the shotgun kind of surprised me. It did make a short game.
3rd and 4 for Miami. Opening series of the game, no score. Shotgun Marino, double wide receivers to either side. Blitz coming from New England. The Dolphins pick it up, and Marino has it out of the hands of his intended receiver, Mark Logan.
Bad pass for Marino that time. Logan was wide open. I mean, he was open, would have made a good gainer, possibly getting to the end zone. Check the left side of your screen, and you'll see the ball badly thrown behind Mark Logan, who can't quite get his hands on it.
Marino's coming off the lowest quarterback rating of his career a year ago, 76.9. He told us he tried to make a lot of big plays and often tried to force it. Field goal attempt by Stoyanovich of Miami. It'll be a 32-yard attempt. And Stojanovich's kick is true, officially 31 yards, as the Miami Dolphins take the opening kickoff and drive down for the go-ahead 3 points. Dolphins lead 3-0 for Stoyanovich, and a 31-yard field goal to take the early lead. We're in the opening quarter from Foxborough. 10:44 left in this first period. And on that first drive, Miami did achieve the balance that Don Shula's been looking for, run and pass. Jones, Martin, and Overton are deep. This will be Martin at the goal line. Tony Martin takes it out to the 20-yard line, where he's pounced on by several Miami special teams performers. Michael Rickenbach leading the charge after a 20-yard return. Well, some problems with the graphics, so we'll give you the starting offensive lineup for the Patriots. That offensive line has been scrambled a bit, but anchored by veteran first-round choice Bruce Armstrong. And there's Steve Grogan at 37, the NFL's oldest quarterback. He'll be throwing to a couple of first-rounders, Fryer and Dykes, dangerous receivers. John Stevens, a man to watch, number 44 in white. He was the league's Rookie of the Year in 1988. He gained 1,100 yards. He'll They'll sometimes come with a Jets formation with 4 wideouts. McMurphy and Jones will join the lineup. Here's Stevens, not much on his first carry in 1990, maybe a yard. T.J. Turner made the tackle for the Dolphins, who start on defense with an unhappy Jeff Cross at defensive end, unhappy with his salary, but he led the team in sacks last year and hopes to do the same. John Offerdahl anchors the linebacking core. He's been to the Pro Bowl all 4 years he's been in the NFL. And in the secondary, the fast-talking Tim McKyer and his Super Bowl rings came over from San Francisco in a trade during the offseason. The Dolphins will often use a 47 defense with 7 defensive backs. Hobley, Glenn, and Thomas join the starting 4. Again on the ground. This time Stevens gets better yardage. He's to the 25-yard line. 4-yard gain before Alfred Oglesby, the rookie nose tackle out of Houston, makes the Miami stop.
Well, that's a big question mark for the Dolphins, and Oglesby's been playing fairly well so far in the absence of Brian Sochet. Now, these Dolphins have done a good job on 1st and 2nd down, and you know, during the exhibition season, the run defense didn't look real good, but their average, actually, they held their opponents to 3.6 yards, Tom, and that's better than the playoff teams did last year. So their run defense has improved.
Actually, it was pretty good until Miami chewed them up in the final preseason game. Here's Grogan's first pass behind the intended receiver, Hartley Dykes, and incomplete. J.B. Brown was covering him on the play, and the Patriots will have to punt on their first possession.
I don't know whether this is a bad pass or Dykes may have made this catch had he not slipped, but that's what a quarterback doesn't like. Cross is right down there knocking Grogan down around those tender knees of his. He's had 4 knee operations already, and he doesn't want that defense around his legs.
Martin is deep for the Dolphins as Brian Hansen boots it away. Here's Martin at about the 33-yard line, hit hard and dropped at the 42. 43-yard Hansen punt, 8 yards on the return. Danny Villa on the tackle for New England. They trail by 3.
Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. By America's favorite light beer, Miller Lite, the sole sponsor of the NFL Player of the Year Award. And by Wheaties. Better get your whole grain. Better eat your Wheaties.
Joe Namath, the Dolphins leading the Patriots 3-0. Here's Sammy Smith as the Dolphins open up with good field position again. He takes it to the 47-yard line. Ronnie Lepet and Fred Marion have to come up from the secondary to stop Sammy Smith, who's been somewhat of a disappointment so far. He was the Dolphins' leading rusher a year ago, 659 yards, but they weren't pleased with his preseason, and looks like that he was just getting ready, Joe, because so far here in the first quarter, he has looked pretty good.
Awful quick, yes. He's shown some good quickness out there.
There are the numbers on Smith a year ago. He lines up as the tailback in the I formation on 2nd down. Marino across the middle and complete to his tight end, Farrell Edmonds. Roland James wrapped around Edmonds, but at 6'6", 254, he just shrugged off the pressure and grabbed the football, and that's been a sore point too. Edmonds catching the ball, but he looked pretty good on that one.
Well, Edmonds is not in there in passing situations usually, and when your running game is going, the play action pass works so much better. You're going to have your tight end involved. You'll see Farrell Edmonds become a very important target. He's got good hands and can run with it after he catches it. That running game, Tom, if they keep that thing going, it's going to set up the rest of the offense.
There's Edmonds as they measure for a first down, and it is enough by half the length of the football as the Dolphins pick up the first down. Dan Marino had his troubles in the preseason, Joe. He didn't play that much, but he wasn't that effective, but 3 of 4, 25 yards here.
Yeah, when he missed Logan on that 3rd down play, immediately I thought of Dan's coming off a less than 50% completion preseason, and we're going to have to see if his sharpness improves. He needs to improve his sharpness.
Smith backs in the backfield, 2 wides to the left. Now Banks in motion. Smith looks for a block, cuts upfield, and is tripped up inside the 45-yard line of New England. That was Vincent Brown on the tackle for the Patriots.
Oh, I like the way that rookie left tackle Richmond Webb pulled that time. He's got excellent footwork. He came from the left side all the way across to open up that hole. And Sammy Smith, right now, this is the best I've seen him look, certainly this year. And I think if he gets off to a good start, as he is now, that's going to carry over. That's going to get into that 2nd and 3rd quarter, and he'll play better.
Marino, as he talked to us yesterday, was very anxious to get that running game going. He knows, as you say, Joe, that it can open up everything else. 2nd and 6. Marino's pass is complete to Mark Duper. Lepet tackles Duper, but not until he picks up 12 yards and a first down. Mark Duper with his 346th career reception. It's been a tough couple of years for them, though. Only 2 touchdown passes the last 2 years.
Hate to sound redundant, boy, but whenever that running game's going, you're going to get one-on-one coverage on the outside. Duper gets so far inside Lepet that time, there's no way to stop him. And I look for Duper to have a big year this year.
I formation. Pitch to Smith. Gets a couple of yards inside the 30 of New England. Tim Goad on the tackle for New England. Tim Goad was talking about playing nose tackle with us yesterday, and he says, you know you're going to get hit, you know you're going to get worked over, but you don't really know where it's coming from. And with Rod Russ putting his defensive scheme back in, Goad says he's learning a whole new defense in his 3rd year out of North Carolina.
It looks like this whole defensive unit of the Patriots is learning a new defense today. So far, they've been ineffective. Very ineffective.
Miami drove down for a field goal. They're driving again from the 27 of New England. Miami leads 3-0 with 5:52 left in the first quarter of play. Balance for Miami so far. They go to the air here, and a good catch made by Tony Martin. Martin is in his first year out of Little Mesa College in Colorado. But Don Shula yesterday was high in his praise. He said Tony Martin is an exciting guy. He's going to make some big plays for us. That was a big catch. Maurice Hurst made the tackle for New England, but it's another Miami first down.
And that's not an easy catch, folks. I want to tell you, when a wide receiver is going across the middle and he has to reach way up over his head, he knows he's going to get hit in those ribs. But he made the catch, came down with it, and Marino is looking awfully sharp now.
6 passes, 45 yards. 6 runs, 45 yards. The ultimate balance for Don Shula's team. Smith to the 15. Ed Reynolds making the stop for the New England Patriots from his linebacker spot. On our 10-minute ticker, let's check scores of the early starting games in the NFL on this opening week of the regular season. Bears blanking the Seahawks. Green Bay surprisingly large margin over the Rams. That's still in the 4th quarter. And Kansas City over Minnesota at home. Look what Tampa Bay did to Detroit. And Phoenix blanked by Washington. Marino for the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Duper. Maurice Hurst was with him stride for stride, and it goes incomplete.
Well, Duper had Hurst beaten that time. Dan Marino got exactly what he wanted. Duper did his job. He got to the outside. On the right side of your screen, folks, you'll see Duper has room to make that catch, but the ball is just slightly overthrown. Not by much, just slightly. It's a game of inches and points.
3rd and 6 for the Dolphins. They come with 4 wide receivers: Duper, Martin, Banks, and Brown. 6 defensive backs on the field for the Patriots. Marino's in the shotgun. Intercepted. Ronnie Lepet has a convoy down the sideline. His own men get in the way, but he's going to make it in for the touchdown. No, they rule him out of bounds. Out of bounds at the 22-yard line. I believe his own man locked him out of bounds, but Ronnie Lepet, who missed all of last year with a ruptured left Achilles tendon, picks off the Marino pass and takes it all the way to the Dolphin 22.
Take a look at this pass, folks. It's badly overthrown. Marino's trying to get to his back. Mark Logan out in the flat and just flat throws it over his head severely. And Lepet makes the good catch, and then it looks like clear sailing with that convoy, but he does get pushed out of bounds accidentally, of course, by one of his own defensive players.
Still, it was a 73-yard return of the interception. And New England will have a first down deep in Dolphin territory. 3:55 left in the first quarter. Miami leading 3-0. They appear to be driving in for more points before the interception by Lepet.
Oh, what a morale boost that interception is for the Patriots. I mean, it's been all Miami Dolphin football that first quarter, this first quarter so far. They're going in for another score, and Dan Marino overthrew his receiver badly. And this thing could just turn the Patriots right around. Marino certainly isn't happy with the last pass, the last couple of passes.
They're taking a look in the replay booth. Al Sabato is the replay official here at Foxborough today, part of Tom Dooley's officiating crew. And I don't really know what they're looking at, except perhaps to mark the spot that he went out of bounds. Could that be it, Joe?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because I didn't see anything else that occurred that's in question right now. Clearly an interception and a nice return.
Well, Lepet, one of those three key players missing from the New England defense a year ago, along with Andre Tippett and Garen Veras. And you have to think just their return alone would make the Patriots a better football team in 1990.
And the young rookie, Ray Agnew, number one.
Well, the play clock, please reset at 13 seconds.
Aha, that's what it is. The play clock and not where he went out. Ray Agnew, another first-round draft choice defensive end, is going to help this Patriot defense also.
There's the play clock, back to 13. And the play stands after further review in the replay booth. First down, Patriots. Grogan looks one way, then the other for the end zone. Touchdown! Fryer basking in the glow of the cheers from the home crowd. He even went up to the end zone to get a few pats on the helmet from them as he catches a 22-yard touchdown pass from Steve Grogan, and he beat Tim McKyer on the play. Starofsky to attempt the extra point, and it's good. Lepet with the interception sets up the touchdown toss to Fryer, and the New England Patriots take the lead from Grogan, giving New England a 7-3 lead. Here's the kickoff by Starofsky. Bounces, and Tony Collins lets it go into the end zone. He covers it for the touchback. Collins, the former Patriot, covering that one. Here's the touchdown again.
The wily Grogan goes to the left side first, but the Dolphins are there. It's good defense. But with so much time, he comes back to the right, and Fryer has all the speed there he needs just to get inside and outrun Tim McKyer. McKyer may have had good defensive position early, but with the time Grogan had, hey, Fryer just has too much speed. He's going to run away from anyone.
I thought he was going to take a seat in the end zone there for a while. He went all the way up into the stands, giving high fives. He and Grogan teaming up to put the Patriots on top. Good protection, as you pointed out, from that offensive line for Grogan on the touchdown toss. From the 20, the Dolphins now trailing. Play action pass. Marino steps up and delivers short completion. It's to Tony Page, who takes it out to the 9-yard line. A 9-yard gain. Ed Reynolds wrapped him up.
I like that philosophy there, Tom, coming back with the play-action pass. You know, it seems like New England's fired up. They're going to be coming off the ball hard, and most folks would figure, well, Miami's going to get reestablished back to the running game. All right? You outsmart them a step more. You fake the run and go to the passing game once again, which, in my opinion, was a very good call.
Don Shula, Scott Sequels, number 9, just signaled to play into Marino on 2nd and 1. Marino will pass, and he has Page. He has a first down. The Dolphins continue to move the ball on New England. Page with a first down at his own 45-yard line. Maurice Hurst finally got Page to the turf.
Tony Page having a big day, blocking, running, and catching the ball. They failed to pick up Tony Page, who was in motion, and now he's going to be one-on-one with Maurice Hurst. And, folks, that's the old Ford over a rooster trick. I tell you, he ran right over him.
It went for 14 yards, and Page carries for a Dolphin first down. Miami has moved the ball here in the first quarter, but the interception led to the New England touchdown. Patriots up 7-3. Page is in motion. Smith turns the corner. lowers his head and fights his way for another Dolphin first down. He's across the 45-yard line. Johnny Rembert took him one-on-one, and Smith won that battle.
These Dolphins have come out fired up once again. You know, they played 4 tough exhibition teams. They beat this New England Patriot team twice last year, so Sammy Smith and his fellas feel like they should win this game, and they need one for the road. Excellent block by Tony Page on Andre Tippett to afford Sammy Smith the outside room.
Smith is giving Miami the running attack they so desire. 8 carries, 51 yards in the first quarter with a minute and a half remaining. Here's the play action again as Marino rolls and fires a strike to Banks. He's got it inside the 30 of New England. Ronnie Lepet was covering, but Banks caught it for 15 yards and another first down. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Tom, you remember by the end of last year, Atlanta was an NFL ghost town. But with new coach Jerry Glanville, sellout crowd today, and they're going wild. Andre Bruce forces the fumble by Warren Moon. Now watch this. Everyone thinks the play is over, but no whistle blows. And after conferring, the officials let it stand. Touchdown, Bobby Butler. Glanville leads his old mates 14-0.
Thanks, Bob, and I guarantee there'll be an excitement with Jerry Glanville at the helm of the Falcons. Here's Sammy Smith to the 25-yard line. Glanville working his magic. They said on NFL Live, I heard Bob Costas talking to Jerry Glanville live on NFL Live this morning, and Jerry Glanville sang at a concert last night. Jerry Jeff Walker and Chris Christopherson were the headliners, but Glanville got into the act too. He said they needed to clear the stadium after being there about 4 hours, so he went to the mic.
Yeah, they had a nice charity event down there to raise some money to help some children, and Jerry Glanville, he's going to get involved in everything, folks. A lot of it's good, and sometimes you don't like what he does so much.
He is a character, I'll say that. 100% solid gold character. Miami has it 2nd and 6. Again, Smith on the carry. Not much that time. Wrapped up after a gain of a yard. Brett Williams led the defensive charge from his defensive end spot for New England. Into the first quarter with New England on top.
Andre Tippett also in defense.
Leading Miami 7-3. Welcome back to Foxborough, and it's the opening week of the regular season. As we made the rounds yesterday talking to the players and the coaches, everyone was excited, even on a couple of teams that struggled at times a year ago. This is a good time for the players.
Players should be excited from training camp on, to me, but I'm excited. This is the time of the year for the fans. We're going to see some real football now when it counts.
And the Miami Dolphins so far achieving that balance that they've been looking for the last few years.
This is the best I've seen the Dolphins look in a long time, and even on a touchdown play, they had good defense initially. Grogan had time to go to his backside and find Fryer, but the defense did a good job to start with.
Miami moving the ball again. They have it 3rd and 5, though, from the 24 of New England. Duper, Martin, Banks, and Brown into the game to the 20-yard line and short of the first down. Mark Logan stopped shy of first down yardage. That'll bring up a 4th down decision for John Shula. Johnny Rembert made the tackle for New England.
Well, this is somewhat of a surprise. Logan hits that hole nicely and quickly, but Rembert just brings him down shy of the first down. A little bit surprised that they go with the run, and it appears they're going to go for that field goal right now.
Don Shula, 60 years old, in his 28th season as a head coach, the 21st at Miami, sends Stojanovic onto the field to attempt the field goal. It'll be about a 38-yard attempt. Scott Secule's the holder. And the kick is good. Pete Stojanovic splits the uprights with the field goal attempt, his 2nd of the game. That narrows the New England lead to 1. Second quarter, New England leading Miami 7-6. The Dolphins, after the field goal, set to kick it off. Stojanovic taken by Martin halfway through the end zone. He'll down it there. On the touchback, the Patriots take over, and there's Don Shula, as we mentioned, in his 28th year as a head coach. And we asked him yesterday, you know, why do you keep at it? Here's what he said. Someday he'll look back on all the great things in his career, but right now, all he can think about are missing the playoffs for 4 years. And You want to turn the team around, and you could really feel that enthusiasm and that desire to turn this team and get them back into the playoffs.
Well, the way they're looking this first quarter, I think he's doing a good job of turning them around early.
Though they trail, the Dolphins have dominated the statistics. 9 first downs to 1 for New England, 13 minutes of possession to 2 for the Patriots, and 149 yards. John Stevens nowhere to go. Does get about 3 or 4 yards out of it. David Griggs on the tackle for the Dolphins. Well, it has been domination by the Dolphins on every place except the scoreboard.
Yes, domination, but that one figure down at the bottom, that turnover, that did lead to the touchdown. Dolphins couldn't be playing much better, and it is surprising that they're on the short end. But, folks, this is a 4-quarter game. A lot of football left.
When's the last time you saw the Dolphins leading in rushing yardage, especially by that margin? Second down play for New England. John Stevens, not much blocking. Excuse me, it's Perryman, and not much blocking up front for him. Robert Perryman stopped after a short gain. John Offerdahl, the 4-time Pro Bowl linebacker of the Dolphins, making the hit for Miami. Offerdahl really is the key to this defense.
I was going to say, this is the key to their defense. Offerdahl and shutting down the run somewhat from your base defense. The Dolphins have to be able to control the run with the people they have out there under normal circumstances, and so far they're doing a good job.
3rd and 3, and John Stevens set wide to the left. 3 wide receivers in all for New England. Grogan again has time, but then throws it away. Stevens, the intended receiver, but it was far over his head. So not much again for the New England offense. They've been stymied. The Patriots got their touchdown on an interception and 73-yard return by Lepet, and then a pass 22 yards from Grogan to Fryer. Tony Martin deep for the Dolphins as Brian Hansen will punt. Low punt, taken at the 40. He's got some room. Martin just finally knocked down. There is a penalty marker on the play. Marv Cook and Brian Hansen, the last 2 players with a shot at him, taking Martin down. Will be a penalty, though, against Miami.
Now, that's a shame. That was a nice return. First of all, Martin did a good job running up to catch that low line drive punt. It's going to be nullified. Well, we can't hear him, but he said that someone pushed in the back. And to me, I saw Brian Kinchin down there. I'm not wanting to guess on things, but he was the only blocker in the area that time. It's a shame that it bring back the run, but they still have decent field position.
New England leads by 1, but Miami with the ball at the 39-yard line after the penalty on the punt return. Sammy Smith using his blockers, stopped at the 40, maybe gained a yard on that play. That time the New England defense stacked up the blockers and stopped Smith after a short gain. Well, Roy Foster has come into the offensive line for the Dolphins. He just signed this week. The 9-year veteran out of Southern Cal wears number 61, and that'll up the age a little bit, but they're basically the new kids on the block because the average age of the starters for the Dolphins just about 24 years, including the 2 rookies that started, Sims and Webb on the left side. Foster, the veteran, in there now, though. Marino's pass complete. Farrell Edmonds makes the catch and is just about a yard short of a first down. Vincent Brown was covering him. And Edmonds showing us some pretty good hands that time, Joe. He was chosen to participate in the Pro Bowl a year ago, but I've never seen a Pro Bowl selection so roundly discussed as he was, even by his coaches and teammates and opponents, all saying, well, they didn't know if he deserved it or not. And he's made 2 good catches so far, and Dan Marino's hit 9 of 12.
And Marino's pretty sharp now, and they did miss on 1 pass or so, but already Farrell Edmonds has been showing that he is part of this offensive attack, and their running game, again, we're going to get a good look at it.
Smith broke it to the 30, fumbles the ball. New England has it. Picked up by Lepet. And he's back to the 35-yard line. Maurice Hurst stripped the ball from Smith, and there was the veteran, Ronnie Lepet, again to gather in the turnover and save further damage by that Dolphin offense. Lepet with another big play.
Sammy Smith hits this hole, runs to daylight, and turns on some good speed. And I tell you what, this is just a great play by Hurst. You see, he can't make the tackle, and look how he just reaches his hand right through there and forces the ball out from Sammy Smith.
And here's Ronnie Lepet taking it back 10 yards, and New England will have the ball. Fumble recovery for the Patriots. A little shaken up on the play, but he walked off under his own power. He's over on the bench being attended to. Meanwhile, the New England offense tries to get something going. 1st and 10. They lead 7-6. Grogan completes it as he let it go, as he was hit, and Robert Perryman takes it to the 40-yard line, about 5 yards. John Offerdahl in pass coverage for Miami. Well, here's some of the headlines from today's NFL Live. Mike Ditka told O.J. Simpson that he could retire if his Bears win the Super Bowl this season. Will McDonough says that Ditka, Bill Parcells, and Joe Gibbs might retire after the season, but that the Eagles' Buddy Ryan will get a new contract. And Al Davis told Bob Costas that he'll have a decision on the Raiders' future home in the next 2 weeks. Coming up at halftime, Bob, Will, and O.J. all the scores and highlights from the first week of the season. Tupu into the lineup for the New England Patriots, blocking for Stevens, who has stopped short of the first down.
Stopped short of the first down because he was turned in by David Griggs, the linebacker. Now, folks, on a fumble that Sammy Smith had, you know, it's easy to fault a running back, but take a look at how Hurst reaches his left arm right in there and yanks the ball out. Now, watch it follow through. Look at this. He's just grabbing that thing and snatches it out of there. Really, Smith, he's not, I don't think he should be called a fumbler yet, Tom. He only had 6 fumbles last year and over 200 and some odd tries, and I don't think he ought to get that rap just yet.
3rd and 2 for New England. Split backs in the backfield. Tupu stopped short of the first down. Tough defense against the run. Cliff Odom, the veteran linebacker, leading the charge from an inside spot for Miami. There's Hurst, who caused the fumble, which stopped the Miami drive, but the New England offense unable to take advantage of it, and the punting team is on again.
Well, that Miami defense is doing a good job.
Hansen in punt formation. Tony Martin will receive the kick. Martin from the 16. Trying to get outside, slips, and is covered at the 20. And Mosi Tupu quickly downfield to make the hit for New England. 41-yard punt. Rod Russ, 62 years old, being named to his first pro head coaching job in the offseason, replacing Raymond Berry at the Patriots helm. His team leads 7-6. Miami's ball. First down play. Sammy Smith twists and turns his way to the 25-yard line with Ray Agnew hanging on. 5-yard gain for Sammy Smith, who now goes to 88 yards on the day. Well, Rod Russ, known as a defensive, quote, genius. And when the Patriots went to the Super Bowl 1986, he had a heavy task there trying to defend the likes of the fridge. Wasn't a very pleasant afternoon for Rod Russ and his Patriots that day. But now at age 62, getting the head coaching spot with the New England Patriots, and Patriot veterans like Andre Tippett saying they're very pleased to have Rod Russ back. Marino long down the sideline, overshoots his intended receiver. It was Fred Banks, Maurice Hurst with good coverage on the play, and Marino sailed it long.
Excellent coverage on the play by Maurice Hurst that time. Marino faked a little pump. Banks even came to a stop in his pass pattern, then took off again, but Hurst was laying for him.
3rd down and 6 yards to go for Miami. They're 0 for 4 on 3rd down efficiency today after leading the NFL in 3rd down efficiency during 1989. You know, Jensen, a clutch 3rd down guy, is a holdout, and they might be missing him on 3rd. 6 defensive backs on for New England. Marino has double wides to either side from the shotgun. Lets it zip. He has 2 receivers open, but the ball is long. Banks was closest to it. Marino had 2 receivers beyond the defense, but his pass was long and incomplete.
Well, there was some pretty good pass protection. I don't know whether Dan felt like it was good protection because he starts getting a little quick in here and nervous, but the ball is well thrown, just too far. I mean, Banks had his defenders beaten badly. That would have been touchdown had the ball been accurate.
Reggie Roby is on to punt, the 2-time Pro Bowl performer, with Irving Fryer deep for the Patriots. Roby with a high leg kick sends a low drive that is taken by Fryer at the 35, reverses his field, and gets a good return out of it. The Patriots will start from their own 49-yard line after Fryer brought a 40-yard punt back 14 yards with Hugh Green on the special teams tackle for Miami. Patriots with the ball, up 1. 16-year veteran Steve Grogan holds almost every New England passing record. He's a popular figure here in New England, and he got the starting nod over Mark Wilson today. He's hit 3 of 5, including a touchdown. John Stevens into Dolphin territory. Excuse me, it's Perryman on a rare carry, 34 instead of 44. And Perryman gets a yard or 2. Jeff Cross on the tackle. Bring you up to date on the scores on our ticker. These are the early starting games. All finals now, of course, and the late starting games. No score in Cleveland. Likewise, the Raiders and the Broncos. Atlanta laying it all over Houston. Tie scores all the way down the list there. And here in New England, 7-6 Patriots. They have the ball, 2nd and 7. Stevens flanked wide to the left. Grogan looks downfield. Stevens is there. He's got it. No, incomplete. He dropped the ball. Stevens got behind the defense, got behind J.B. Brown and Lewis Oliver. The pass just a tad short, and he couldn't hold it.
Well, on the right side of your screen, folks, you'll see the ball's underthrown just a hair, and Stevens still should have made this catch. I mean, he snuck by J.B. Brown, just flat got on top of him and ran by him, because Stevens does have some sneaky speed. Here you see Grogan just a little bit upset. He knew he underthrew it a little bit, but it still should have been caught.
3rd down for New England. They're 0 for 3 in 3rd downs. 4 wide receivers in. Grogan under pressure has his man Fryer to the 20. It's a foot race. Stopped at the 1-yard line. Lifford Hobley made the saving tackle, chasing down Irving Fryer at the 1-yard line after a 48-yard strike from Steve Grogan.
Fine catch by Fryer, leaping high into the air and making that catch, and then turned on the speed. He does have some speed to burn.
Severs, Cook, and Dawson, 3 tight ends for the Patriots. Stevens stopped short. Jeff Cross came from that defensive end spot to stop Stevens. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Also defensively, return side, just lose all of them.
Good defensive play by Jeff Cross. Let's take a look at that long pass. First, you'll see a good catch by that man, number 80, Irving Fryer, on the left side of your screen. Watch how high he gets up into the air and extends himself for that ball. And now, folks, this is speed. He nearly makes it to the end zone. Clifford Hobley finally stops him.
2nd and goal from the 1. Tight formation, 3 tight ends. Stevens again picks his way forward. No signal yet. He was stopped short. Stevens looked a little tentative that time, Joe, as a fight breaks out now.
Well, he did kind of slow down and try to pick his way into the end zone. He didn't appear to hit the hole as hard or as fast as you'd like, but hey, I got to give credit to that Dolphin defense for stopping these guys twice. Let's take another look at it. You'll see that he doesn't have a hole initially. The Dolphins shut off the front fairly well. Good penetration by Wilson, and then Odom makes first contact, and he just stopped short of the end zone.
From ground level, you'll see that the ball does not break the plane of the end zone before Stevens is down. Then he and Lewis Oliver mixed it up a little bit. It'll be 3rd and goal, that far away from touchdown territory. This time, Stevens somersaults in. Much yardage for Stevens, but he does have that score, and Rod Rust's team extends its lead. Irving Fryer made the big play on the reception from Grogan. Now the extra point is up and good from Starofsky. 4:45 left in the half. Patriots 14, Dolphins 6. Kick squibs to the 10, where it's fumbled by Collins out of bounds. So Miami will start from its own 16-yard line. The Dolphins have dominated the stats, but the big play of New England has given them the lead. Don Shula trying to rally his troops.
Doesn't look very happy right now.
And when he's not happy, everybody on the sideline knows it.
Well, their offense has been good so far. Rod Rust's defense has, well, it's bent some. It hasn't broken completely. They've held the Dolphins to 2 field goals, and they're still learning this defensive screen. But the Dolphin offenses look good. Marino has just missed barely in a couple of big plays.
He'll try to get one here. Through the hands of Tony Page. Saw Marino saying downfield as he pointed to Page.
Well, it's good pass protection for Dan Marino. His young offensive line is giving him plenty of time to find his receivers, and when he finally goes over to Page, Page just doesn't hold on to the ball. It's pretty good velocity, but they would have had a good gain had he been able to hold the ball.
Well, Marino and his receiver on the wrong page. Kisses from the crowd here in the booth. 2nd and 10. This time they'll stay on the ground. Sammy Smith twisting and turning, has short yardage. That time Vincent Brown and the rest of the linebacker corps are ready for it, and the rookie Ray Agnew got a piece of the tackle.
Yeah, there's Vincent Brown, number 59. Now the Dolphins have put themselves in a bit of a jam here. As you see Brown leaving, the Patriots will bring in their special 3rd down defense, and Miami's going to be having some problems, I think, in these situations. Without their best receiver out of the backfield, Jim Jensen, and without Mark Clayton, these 3rd and long situations are awful tough.
Haven't converted a 3rd down in 5 attempts, and Marino's last 3 passes have been incomplete. Across the middle, open to Martin. Tony Martin has a Miami 1st down to the 32-yard line before he's stopped by Roland James after a 13-yard gain. Let's check in with Bob Costas.
Tom, in Atlanta, it's a Jerry Glanville fantasy. Sellout crowd for his home debut against his old mates, the Oilers, and his team is doing it the way he likes his teams to, with aggressive defense. A dispute here. The Oilers thought the whistle should have blown, but no, they say that Warren Moon fumbled before he hit the ground. Jesse Tuggle takes it 65 for the touchdown. 24-0 Atlanta in the 2nd.
All right, Bob, here at Foxborough, Miami moving the ball with a 1st down play. Sammy Smith with some tough running, breaking tackles and picking his way across the 45 to the 47, with Johnny Rembert and Fred Marion hanging on for dear life as the 2nd-year All-American out of Florida State approaches the 100-yard mark and rushing in the 1st half.
I'll tell you, right behind the left side, Richmond Webb, number 78, is occupying his man. Tony Page gets up in there, and Pharaoh Edmonds stayed with his man long enough for Sammy Smith to show that speed of his to jump through the hole. And hey, this offense is looking terrific today for the Dolphins, even though they're on the short end of the score.
And Shula predicted yesterday that Smith would have a good game for them. He's already over 100 yards. Marino tried to set up a screen. It's intercepted. Johnny Rembert picks off the Marino pass. 2nd interception by the Patriots, and Rembert takes it to the 30 before Sammy Smith can make the John Stevens of the Patriots today. Dan Marino, 2 interceptions. The Dolphins have turned it over a total of 3 times, and that's kept New England in the game. He's hit 10 of 17 for over 100 yards, but those 2 big pickoffs. Carl Wilson just made a big defensive play for the Dolphins, though, an 11-yard sack of Grogan. Wilson, a Plan B acquisition from Phoenix. Grogan in the flat to Stevens, can't beat his man to get free, and is stopped at the 35-yard line by David Griggs, the outside linebacker who had pass coverage on Stevens.
Anytime you see a linebacker, folks, stop a back the caliber of John Stevens one-on-one on the outside, he's done a very good job. And this young David Griggs, number 92, Griggs, has been doing a good job the whole training camp, and that's how he won the job from E.J. Jr.
Coming up at halftime, Bob, Will, and O.J. to bring you all the scores and highlights. Greg McMurtry into the game at a wideout for New England, replacing Perryman. Grogan's got a man. It's Cook. Touchdown.
Give that man the time, he's going to find the right guy to go to, and Marv Cook was the man that time. The tight end, number 46, split the seam, ran by Jarvis Williams, and Grogan threw the strike.
Zorowski's extra point is good. 3 Miami turnovers, 3 New England touchdowns, and Marv Cook with his first professional touchdown. He caught only 3 passes as a rookie a year ago. That's his 4th pro catch, and it goes for a TD. 35 yards.
On the right side of your screen, folks, you'll see number 46 coming downfield to make a little nod inside, and then he just keeps going. I tell you what, that was Lifford Hobley, number 29, that he ran by. It wasn't Williams. Oh, yeah, are they happy? The Dolphins had in their special pass defense that time, folks, but got burned by the tight end.
Steve Grogan was telling us yesterday that he's had almost 2 separate careers. When he took over for Jim Plunkett with New England in 1975, he didn't know much about the passing game. He came from a run-oriented offense at Kansas State. He said, but he bought time by being able to run and scramble. He says now he knows where the ball needs to go and when it needs to get there. He doesn't run much anymore, but he's a much smarter quarterback. And I asked him which was better of the two. He said, I don't know. He said, I had a lot of fun when I was younger. He said, but maybe I'm better now.
I asked him about his arm strength, and he said he makes up for, I guess, the lack of strength that he used to have by releasing it a little bit earlier.
Low kick is finally taken by the Dolphins. Grand Kitchen manages to corral the football and take it to the 35-yard line, where he's tackled by George Adams. 15-yard return after that 29-yard scoring drive with Marv Cook on the touchdown pass.
You know, Brian Kitchen just made a good play, I want you to know. That ball was another knuckleball that Tony Collins on the last kickoff had a difficult time picking up. I know Starofsky's trying to kick that ball that way, and Kitchen made a terrific stop. Gives the Dolphins good field position with 1 minute and 7 seconds left.
And they come with 4 wide receivers. Mark Logan, the only setback, next to Marino in the shotgun. Brown, Banks, Martin, and Duperin facing the nickel defense of the Patriots, who are back way up. Marino throws under it and hits Banks. Banks tries to squirt away but goes down. We've seen several slips on this turf today. It is an old and rather beat up artificial turf that'll be replaced by prescription athletic turf, the same surface as in Joe Robbie Stadium after this year. Marino again throws underneath the coverage. This one is to Mark Logan, who almost shakes free. He's inside the 45 of the Patriots, where he's stopped by Johnny Rembert. Miami calls a timeout with 40 seconds left.
Very smart, efficient 2 plays just now. Marino seems to be under control. I think that pass protection's doing a good job for him so far this game. I think Richmond Webb and Sims, even though Roy Foster is in the game, Sims did a pretty good job early. So you have to give the Miami Dolphin front line credit for doing a good job. Yes, Foster is going back into the game.
Well, hope you'll be with us for the Saturday Sports Showcase next Saturday here on NBC. The Isuzu NFL Quarterback Challenge. Dan Marino will be taking part in that one against The likes of John Elway, Warren Moon, Jim Everett, and others. That's the Isuzu NFL Quarterback Challenge next Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern here on NBC. Foster in on the offensive line for the Dolphins, the veteran who just signed this week. Lining up on the left side and replacing Keith Sims, the rookie guard. 6 defensive backs for the Patriots. 40 seconds left in the half. Marino chased. Complete to Banks. Banks to the 35-yard line. Andre Tippett stops him, and the clock stops at 29 seconds after that 10-yard gain.
Well, Dan Marino smartly called timeout then because he knew the clock would run off some valuable time. I like the way Dan moved out of that pocket. He's shown some good movement this training camp and in this game, certainly. And what makes this catch is the receiver coming back to the ball. You see that? He came back to get the ball and then turned upfield. A good move by Banks.
29 seconds left. Marino on the sideline, trailing 21-6. The Dolphins with 1 timeout remaining.
Boy, if there's ever a first half where statistics do lie, the Dolphins have been up and down the field, but haven't been able to get across the goal line. And the Patriots really haven't shown a great deal of offense, but they have 21 points up there.
Marino with 2 interceptions in the first half, and he told us yesterday that the interceptions, one of the things he wants to concentrate on eliminating after a lot of them a year ago. He's in the shotgun. For the end zone. Touchdown to Martin. The Dolphins work the 2-minute drill to perfection. And Tony Martin, called an exciting player by Don Shula, beats Eric Coleman for the Miami touchdown, 35 yards.
Plenty of time for Marino. On the right side of the screen, you'll see Dan put the ball exactly where it needs to be thrown. Martin with a good separation on Eric Coleman, just flat blew by him. Excellent play for the Dolphins, and boy, they needed that going into this halftime.
A big lift for Miami as Martin badly beat Coleman on that play. Stoyanovich for the extra point. It's good. So with 23 seconds left in the half, it's Tony Martin in his first year out of Mesa College of Colorado that makes the reception after spending all of last year on the Miami. And this first half has been a story of turnovers. In fact, the tone was set early. Lepet picked off a Marino pass as the Dolphins were driving, and there have been several big plays made by the Patriots today. Even the linebackers are getting in on it. Johnny Rembert picked off a Marino pass that wasn't a very wise decision by Dan.
No, that was an ill-advised throw by Dan Marino. You don't want to try and fool Rembert. I mean, he's been around for a while. This is the one play that the Dolphins would like to have back, I'm sure, but their offense has been looking good so far. I think the Dolphins' running game has been good. Their pass protection has been good, and they're behind. I don't think the score is indicative of how these two teams have been playing. It is the turnovers.
That's right. Miami has dominated in every sense except the turnovers. They've committed 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a fumble, and New England has scored 3 touchdowns off those turnovers, and turnovers have been a recurring problem for the Miami Dolphins. Here's what they looked like last year in that takeaway giveaway department.
And it's one of the few times you'll see where turnovers will lie to you about a record. The Dolphins ended up with a better record last year than the Patriots did, even though the Patriots were able to, I guess, hold on to the ball or have fewer turnovers.
One thing that the Dolphins have achieved here in the first half, I think, is to get that balance. They've been able to run the ball behind that young offensive line with sprinkling in some veterans here and there, and Sammy Smith already over 100 yards in the first half.
Sensational blocking up front. Smith has looked really well running the ball. I thought when he got stripped from the football, you can't really fault Sammy Smith there. You'd like for him to grab onto the ball and latch down on it, but that was just a great defensive play.
And as a Hall of Fame quarterback, how do you assess Grogan and Marino in the first half?
Well, Grogan, he's throwing fairly sharp. I mean, he's pretty good. His team's in front now, and I like him. you know, to take a beating like this, I don't think he'll last 16 games. You know, he's taken some good hits. Marino has been sharp with the exception of the 2 interceptions. Plus, he's missed a couple of big plays. I mean, the Dolphins, if Marino were really on target today, would have a couple of more points up on the board because he had some receivers open on long patterns down the left side and center of the field.
And you see that the Dolphins have dominated the first half stats, but those 3 big turnovers have led to 21 New England points. Second half ready to get underway. The Dolphins will kick it off to the Patriots. Pete Stoyanovich has it teed up and is ready to boot it downfield. Martin deepest of all for New England. Good kick. Martin will take it at about the 1. Stopped short of the 20-yard line. That was a good high kick by Stoyanovich and gave his cover men time to get downfield. And Reichenbach with his 3rd special team tackle of the afternoon.
Dolphins have been covering their kicks nicely. I know Coach Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach, was somewhat concerned. He lost a couple of his best players on special teams, J.B. Brown and David Griggs. I mean, these young fellas were a terror, and right now the fellas he has filling in are doing a good job of covering the punts and the kickoffs.
Steve Grogan wearing that neck collar. He had neck surgery a year ago that almost ended his career. Swing pass to Stevens. Makes a nice cut to evade one tackler and then is taken down by John Offerdahl. Offerdahl, who held out much of last season, the first 6 games as a matter of fact, still finished number 3 in tackles on the Dolphins and made it to the Pro Bowl. And we asked him yesterday if it was worth it, and he said, well, he hated to do it, but he's happy now, so he guesses on balance that holdout was worth it.
Yeah, that's history to old John. He wants it right now. He wants this defense to come together. And with these 5 new defensive starters that we have out there, Griggs and Oglesby, Brown and McKyer, certainly, and Odom, this defense doesn't look anything like the defense of last year.
Offerdahl has had some big games against the Patriots, and that holdout affected the Miami salary situation as Grogan lofts a pass complete. First down catch by Hart-Lee Dykes, his first reception of the 1990 season. J.B. Brown covering Hart-Lee Dykes, first-round draft choice of a year ago.
Well, if there's any question about Steve Grogan's ability to still pass the football, just watch how nicely he lays this over the top. What beautiful touch right into the hole there to the big Hart-Lee Dykes. Now, J.B. Brown, you want to tackle with your head up. You don't want to duck your head there, and that's poor tackling form, but very good pass by Grogan.
15 yards to Dykes and a Patriot first down. Fake to Stevens. Nope, give it to him. He slipped and fell and is stopped at the 35-yard line. A gain of 1. And John Offerdahl again with the salary. We mentioned that holdout, which gave Offerdahl much better numbers in the salary department, but that's been a sticking point with Miami. Dan Marino has complained something about his $1.5 million salary compared to other top quarterbacks. But the man that's really steamed about this is Jeff Cross, making $92,500, the man that led Miami in sacks a year ago. You talked to him, Joe.
Yes, and Cross said, look, I played through the preseason. I'm not going to be distracted by this contract squabble. We're close. I expect things to be worked out soon.
Cross unhappy, wants his contract renegotiated. Joe said he was pretty close. Grogan's pass incomplete, a little short of the mark intended for Hart-Lee Dykes.
You know, that's another thing, Tom, about those contracts. You read things in the paper and all. Now, I talked with Charlie Winter, the head of the player personnel, and he filled me in on these negotiations with Cross, and he couldn't state often enough how available Tim Robbie is to these agents at any time that they want to call. It appeared that Tim Robbie was being difficult to get along with, but once again, Cross deserves a better paycheck, in my opinion. He's their best defensive lineman, and he feels confident that they're going to have it worked out soon.
3rd and 9 for the New England Patriots. Greg McMurtry is in at a wide receiver. Perryman goes out. 6 defensive backs for the Dolphins. This is Stevens on the sweep. Not much blocking there. And Stevens will be stopped well short of first down yardage. Lifford Hobley made the tackle for the Miami Dolphins. Hobley, number 29, in his 5th year out of LSU. And Hobley makes the tackle from the secondary, bringing up a punting situation for Brian Hansen. Stevens has been held in check by the Miami defense. 10 carries, 14 yards. That's Martin deep for Miami. Martin had a good return a while ago. Let's see if he can make the corner here. A couple of pretty nice moves. Stopped at the 29-yard line. Eric Sievers leading the special teams tackle for New England that time after a 41-yard punt and a 9-yard return. Timeout. 21-13, the Patriots lead. Sammy Smith of Miami, 105 yards rushing in the first half. The first time a Dolphin back has rushed for 100 and a half since 1978. Marino under pressure delivers a strike to the 45-yard line. Farrell Edmonds with his third catch of the day. 16 yards and a Dolphin first down. The tackle by Roland James.
Beautiful pass protection. Marino smartly steps up into that pocket. Watch Marino. He won't get nervous. He'll be calm. Look how he steps right up in there and finds the big tight end down the middle. Now, you want to question Farrell Edmonds' ability to catch the ball. I think what he's shown us so far is he has very good hands and he can get open.
He's had a good game here, and he's given the Dolphins a first down. Sammy Smith trying to add to that total, only gets about 3, but that'll put him up to 108 yards on the day. The 8th 100-yard game of his brief career, and the first time since Delvin Williams rushed for 100 yards in the first half against Buffalo back in 1978 that a Dolphin back has amassed that kind of first half total. Let's take a look now at our Hertz 10-minute ticker with the final scores of the earlier games. Those are the early starting games in our week 1 of the NFL season. 2nd and 7. Marino's pass wide open and complete to Mark Duper. Duper ridden out of bounds by Ronnie Lepet after he got enough yardage for the first down, I believe. Let's see where they spotted. It will be just beyond the first down marker. And Miami continues to gain yardage on this New England defense, even though they trail 21-13.
Well, Duper did a great job that time. After he caught that ball, he turned out and he saw where that first down marker was, and Duper was able to keep his feet in bounds and skip along to get the first down. Very good thinking there. Good reception, good thinking on Duper's part.
Mark Super Duper, that's his legal middle name, for the first down catch. Smith on the pitch, almost broke it. Finally, they get him down. Ronnie Lepet had a hold of the jersey of Smith, and he was pulling him like a sleigh ride through the woods. He finally got him down after a 20-yard gain. Tippett finally got him to the turf.
The blocking is good, but I like the way Smith is really running with a vengeance. I mean, power running, picking those legs up. Look, he just splits those defenders with speed and just keeps driving. Watch, they'll try and knock the ball out. You see that overhand right by Tippett? He was trying to knock that football loose.
That was 241-pound Andre Tippett being drug along by Smith. First down, Dolphins, 23 of New England. Marino on a roll. And it's broken up by Lepet with his coverage on Mark Duper. Sammy Smith, 128 yards, and that is his career high. His previous career high had been 123 yards against Indianapolis last year. Dolphin fans will remember he scored 3 touchdowns against New England in December of last season, the game the Dolphins won 31-10 as they swept the Patriots in 1989. 2nd and 10. Marino's hit 16 of 24, 195 yards. He has had 2 picked off. Behind the intended receiver, Fred Banks. Maurice Hurst had him covered to the inside. The pass sailed outside.
Well, the one thing is a quarterback, you see another quarterback throw and say, well, what would I have done differently that time? I think Marino could come under a little better control. You see he's constantly moving and throwing on the movement, and it's hairy inside there. You have some linebackers crossing your view there, and Dan just threw the ball behind the receiver that time. Of course, it had been out in front. The linebacker may have been there. He was really in the area.
Martin and Brown wide to the left. Duper and Banks to the right. 1 of 6 on third down conversions. Marino lets it go in a hurry, and he gets it to Duper. Duper dancing free. stopped at the 3. Robinson and Marion finally catching the elusive Mark Duper, who turns it into a 20-yard gain.
Oh, Marino stood in there. The blitz came from the right side. Here he's getting ready to get hit, but it was a nice pickup by his running back, and then Duper does the rest of the work in getting upfield. Now watch how they'll try and tackle that ball again. You can bet these Dolphins know that the Patriots are trying to knock that ball loose, and they're going to hold on to it even more tightly than normal.
With Clayton missing from the lineup, Duper trying to pick up the slack has given the Dolphins a 1st and goal at the 3. Smith for the touchdown. Sammy Smith scores the touchdown. He's having a big afternoon in that rejuvenated Miami ground attack, the one that Don Shula's been looking for the past few years. Ed Reynolds is the injured Patriot. Reynolds, an interesting story. His dad was in the military, and Ed was born in Stuttgart, West Germany, when his dad was serving over there. And he's in the Army Reserve himself. In fact, his unit is on alert during the Persian Gulf crisis. We'll take a break. Patriot lead is 2. In Foxborough, while we were away, the extra point by Pete Stoyanovich was good, narrowing the New England lead to only 1, 21-20. Ed Reynolds taken from the field with help after apparently injuring his left knee. Here's the TD.
Watch the center and left guard, Sims and Uhlenhake, just double team nicely there, and Tony Page lead through the hole. That Sims and Uhlenhake double team was so deep, it went back so far it knocked the linebacker off and opened a huge hole for Sammy Smith to get through.
From ground level, there's a great blocking again.
Oh, yeah, these guys fired off the ball nicely. I tell you, Sims and Webb have been doing a terrific job for a couple of rookies.
Sammy Smith has a career-high 131 yards behind that offensive line, and a bad omen for the Patriots if Ed Reynolds goes off with an injury, the leading tackler a year ago for New England, and they've been unable to stop the ground game led by Smith with Reynolds in there, much less without him. Dolphins have pulled within a point. Kickoff taken deep in the end zone by Martin, who will down it there. 21-20 New England with 8:57 left in the 3rd quarter. From Foxborough, Massachusetts, Sammy Smith has been the story for the Dolphins. When they've turned it over to Smith, he's responded with a career-high running total with 8:57 left in the 3rd. It's only been the turnovers, the only flaw in the Dolphin attack today. 3 turnovers have let Steve Grogan pass for 2 touchdowns and John Stevens run for another. New England offense on the field. They'll have a 1st down when we come back. Down New England, 2 tight ends, Severs and Cook. Stevens is the only running back. That's Severs in motion. John Stevens gets the handoff, cuts back, and gains 2 or 3 yards. Well, Don Shula and Dan Marino haven't always been on the best of terms in recent years, but I think winning will take care of a lot of that, Joe. They had a little bit of a feud, and Marino discussed a trade, but as we asked both of them about the situation yesterday, they both said things were fine.
Hey, I was fortunate to work with some great coaches, Paul Bear Bryant at Alabama and Weave Eubank with the Jets, and I want to tell you, when a quarterback and coach work so closely together for long periods of time, it's an emotional situation, and you do get angry at one another. I mean, it's not always a love relationship. There's some hate, but you know you have to work together, and you work it out.
Severs again is in motion. Grogan retreats to pass. Good catch in traffic made by Irving Fryer. Offerdahl laid a hit on him, and you see Fryer holding his back. Fryer has had an excellent game with some big catches, and that was actually Cliff Odoms and Jarvis Williams, I think, that pounded Fryer after he made the catch. See if you can pick up who it was, Joe, that delivered that blow.
Well, Jarvis Williams on the left side of your screen, number 26, is in pretty good position, and it doesn't make the play on the ball, but here you see Odom coming in 93. And I tell you, I think that Fryer hurt his back before he got to the ground or before he was hit by Odom. If we can look at that again, maybe we'll see that he twisted himself somehow on the way to the ground. because Odom really didn't get a good lick in, and neither did Jarvis Williams. So let's take another look at this catch and see if you can tell on the left side of your screen what happens to Irving Fryer. Good pass. Now, if we can see anything, I don't see anything yet. He kind of twists himself, Tom.
I agree, yeah. He didn't receive a blow to the back. He just sort of twisted the wrong way, and you could tell that he had hurt it. Well, while we're waiting for the injury to Fryer, let's check in with Bob Costas for an NFL Live update.
All right, Tom, check out the former Patriots, Stanley Morgan, latching on to Jeff George's first official NFL touchdown pass. It covers 25 yards. The #1 pick in the entire draft, Jeff George celebrates, and Indianapolis back in it at Buffalo, trailing only 16-10 in the third. Back to Tom and Joe.
Where at Foxborough, Irving Fryer is still being tended to, and I'm not even sure it's his back at this point, Joe. Irving Fryer live on the field here at Foxborough as the backboard has been brought out onto the field, and they lift him onto it. A freak injury. He did not receive a heavy blow that we could detect on the replay, and thoughts of Darryl Stingley, of course, come to mind, but there wasn't any hard blow delivered by any Dolphin that we could see. Let's take a look at the final scores we have this first week of the NFL. Here's the play again while you look at this, Joe. It's just, I can't see anything really happen.
Well, I see him twist, and he'll twist about right in here. Right there's a twist. And he goes down on his own, basically, to avoid the tackle, but he just got twisted around there. Couldn't detect the blow.
Let's take a look at those final scores. Week 1 of the NFL season.
Shutout over Seattle. I tell you, Green Bay with their backup quarterback did a good job on the Rams, huh? Kansas City beating Minnesota. Boy,
the Magic Man may not be needed in Green Bay.
Yep, that Tampa Bay bunch went over there to Detroit's backyard and beat them in the Silverdome.
As Fryer is being carried from the field, we'll bring you up to date on some of the other games in progress. Pittsburgh leading Cleveland 3-0. The Raiders currently with a 1-point edge on the Denver Broncos, 7-6 Los Angeles. Jerry Robinson with an interception return for a touchdown. Atlanta and Houston, it's been all the Falcons. They lead 27-7 for Jerry Glanville. Warren Moon with a pass to get the Oilers on the board just before halftime. Cincinnati and the Jets at Riverfront Stadium. Boomer Esiason has hit Eddie Brown with a 10-yard touchdown pass. Ken O'Brien had a 46-yarder to Al Toon, and the Jets and Bengals are tied 10-10. Up in Buffalo, Buffalo leading Indianapolis as we're back to play here in New England. John Stevens reverses his field. He's in trouble. Picks up a good block. Cuts it upfield. He's at midfield and driven out of bounds in Dolphin territory. Steve Grogan, 37 years old, made the block that sprung Stevens for 22 yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Dolphins do a good job at a point of attack. They shut it down. Stevens gets back on his own, and then Tim McCarr, number 22, comes up in perfect position. But whoop, he gets shaken. Stevens puts a good move and gets inside, and there was no pursuit at that time. Actually, McCarr did a good job turning him in, even though he missed the tackle, but the pursuit didn't get back.
Not a big day for Stevens, but it was Grogan with a key block there. I've seen it all now. John Stevens, not much there that time, right in the center of the line with Cliff Odom stacking it up for the Dolphins. Well, he's the oldest blocking back in the NFL, as well as being the oldest quarterback, 37 years old. Did you ever risk your body that way?
Of course, of course. You know what, though? You know, when you get scored on the way the Dolphins scored on the Patriots, and then one of your best people, best buddies, and great players goes down with the injury, it can be very devastating to a team. The Patriots have bounced back here, and we'll see if they can maintain this momentum, but losing Irving Fryer can be devastating.
Steve Grogan's had about 7 operations, 3 or 4 on his knees alone. Here's a swing pass to the rookie Don Overton, who replaced Stevens in the backfield, and he takes it short of the 40-yard line, where the veteran linebacker Hugh Green gets over to make the stop. Overton made this team as a free agent out of the NAIA school Fairmont State, the all-time rusher at that West Virginia school, where he gained 3,500 yards, but he was a long shot to make this team. Number 29, Don Overton.
Yeah, he said, you know, I guess these scouts don't know everything. They have all these combines and everything, and how he didn't get drafted being a free agent, and he's just impressed the heck out of these coaches up here in New England.
He's spelling John Stevens at the moment in the New England backfield as the Patriots face a 3rd and 4. See the numbers on Grogan. Grogan stands tough, and he has his man Cook for a Patriot first down. Cliff Odom on the coverage stops Cook, but not until New England keeps the drive alive.
Very good read by Grogan. Grogan wanted to get the ball to the outside. He kept calm. You watch Grogan's head. He'll be looking to his right, your left on the screen. He wants to get the ball in the flat, but he's covered. Now he comes back. He knows where his receiver Cook is and gets the ball to him. Odom's in pretty good position, but he couldn't break that one up.
Remember, Irving Fryer out of the game after making 3 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. He was injured. Cedric Jones has replaced him. Patriots with a first down. Dolphin 33. Play action. Grogan's all alone, and he's pounded down by Jeff Cross. There's the first sack of the year for Cross, who had 4.5 against the Patriots a year ago. 3 of them in 1 game here in September.
Jeff Cross just been firing off that ball. I mean, he gets back there and Grogan doesn't have a chance. And, you know, part of this contract squabble they're having, Tom, they want to get some incentives in there to get his salary up, and part of it has to do with the number of sacks that he may or may not have this year. And this young man keeps playing the way he is right now. He's going to surpass that number of 10 sacks by more than just 1 or 2.
Second time today Grogan has been sacked. That was a loss of 13. Plenty of time here. Complete. Cedric Jones to the 25. Tim McKyer made the tackle after a 19-yard gain as Jones, who replaced Fryer, makes the first down catch, and he beat the former 49er Tim McKyer, who's been very vocal since he arrived after a trade in Miami. In fact, he came out in the paper, did Tim McKyer, blasting his teammates on the Dolphins, saying they didn't know how to win, they didn't work hard enough to win. And there's Tim McKyer. It caused a lot of meetings, a lot of shaking heads around the Dolphin camp, but McKyer said anyway, on balance, it was all positive, he thought.
Sure, and his teammates feel that way as well. What the Dolphins need to do is get pressure back there on the passer when he drops back, straight back. They need to get in there on Grogan, not give him the time.
Off the hand of Cook, the intended receiver, or Severs, excuse me, 85 Severs. Hugh Green was covering, but not too tightly, and the pass a little tall. Severs couldn't handle it.
That was a big defensive play for the Dolphins and a poor defensive play for the Pats. 3rd and short. Now they're going to have to settle for the field goal attempt.
Irving Fryer has a lower back injury and is out for the rest of the game as New England lines up for the field goal attempt by Jason Starofsky. He hit 14 of 17 in the last half of last year. This one, 42 yards. Starofsky's 42-yard field goal makes the Patriot lead 4. On defense, Irving Fryer, their fine wide receiver, who's having a big afternoon, and their leading tackler from 1989, Ed Reynolds. How will that impact on this defensive unit of New England, Joe?
Well, I'll tell you, New England's defensive unit hasn't been able to really stop the Dolphins. The Dolphins have stopped themselves so far with the turnovers, so the Dolphins should be able to move the ball as well as they have been, or even better.
Starofsky's kick taken by Tony Collins, former Patriots, to the 25, almost broke free, tripped up at the 34-yard line by Richard Tarditz. Richard Tarditz is a young man from Biarritz, France, who went to the University of Georgia. And Dan Marino and company trot back out onto the field, facing a 4-point deficit and 3:28 left on the clock, 3rd quarter. Richard Harvey has come in to the linebacking core for New England, replacing the injured Ed Reynolds. Smith. 2 or 3 yards. Johnny Rembert at the bottom for that tackle for New England. And Richard Tarditz is the young man, number 53 there. Signed as a free agent. He was drafted by Phoenix a year ago, but he was a rugby player, 7 years on the junior national team in France. He visited some friends in Augusta, Georgia. He went by the University of Georgia, decided to get an education in the U.S. He would try out for football. The first time Vince Dooley said block somebody, he tackled him. He didn't always know what he was doing, but he told us he always worked 100%, 110%, and Coach Dooley liked it. Here he is in the NFL. Nobody in France understands it much, but he's ecstatic with this turn of events. Banks with the catch, Brown and Lepet on the tackle. He was a delightful young man, Tarditz, Joe.
Oh, I had a good time visiting with him. I thought it was interesting when we asked him what the big difference was between rugby and American football. He says, hey, when we play rugby, only the guy with the ball's allowed to get hit. He said, I come out for football and I'm getting hit from people I didn't do anything to. I mean, they're hitting me from all the sides. And I thought that was interesting. This game is a lot different for him, and he's really in his early stages. He's just a marvelous young player for what experience he's had.
On 3rd and 1, Smith is hit hard and dropped short of the first down. Ray Agnew, the rookie first-round draft choice, met Smith at the pass and drove him in reverse.
Big defensive play by that Patriot front that time. I tell you, that's the 1 yard, 2 yard situation. The Dolphins are going to have to learn to pick up that 3rd down and tough yardage situation.
Only the second punt of the day by Roby of Miami. First one covered 40 yards. Martin is deep for New England. Let the ball bounce. It'll be down to right about the 20-yard line, just inside it in New England territory, where the Patriots take over after that 37-yard Roby kick. Well, Rod Rust, the defensive man, he said he hasn't concentrated on the defense. He has tried not to anyway, although he probably has paid a little more attention to it. But his defense hasn't often been too stout today, but getting the job done, his team ahead.
Yeah, having been an assistant for a long time, he knows how sensitive assistant coaches are to their jobs, and head coaches, sure, they're the boss, but he likes to let his assistants handle their responsibilities without stepping on their toes.
First down from the 19 for New England. This is Stevens. Had a little breather on the last series, and he turns it on to the outside. 5 or 6 yard gain. Cliff Odom chased him out of bounds.
Well, that's another play. J.D. Brown, I mentioned earlier, he ducked his head in one tackle attempt, and this time J.D. Brown came up with good outside support, but whenever he puts his head down a little bit to take on that blocker, he loses his vision, and that cornerback is not supposed to let the running back get to his outside. He doesn't have any help outside, so Brown ideally should have maintained his outside position and turned Stevens in to get caught by his friends.
At the U.S. Open, Pete Sampras has defeated Agassi in straight sets. Pete Sampras is the men's singles champion at the U.S. Open. John Stevens singles the Dolphins. He goes one-on-one into their secondary and turns it into a long gain before Lewis Oliver finally catches up. But Stevens starting to pick up the pace here in the second half. Rambled for 22 yards there.
Oh, nice hole inside on the right side of your screen. You'll see Stevens break, cut back, and then once again, this is the same thing, folks. J.B. Brown takes on a blocker, but he lets the Stevens get outside of him. That's a definite no-no for a cornerback. You don't have any help out there.
Severs and Hartley Dykes clearing the way for Stevens that time. Eric Severs, the tight end. Hartley Dykes, the wide receiver. That's Severs in motion. Overton stopped for a loss. Dolphin defense was ready. Division rivals battling it out to start the fourth quarter. 24-20. New England leading Miami. Two teams hoping to turn things around in 1990 and get off on the right foot with a win. 2nd and 10 for New England. Grogan to pass. Complete, but short of the first down to Eric Severs, who is ridden out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Miami. Well, New England playing without first-round draft choice Chris Singleton, who held out for 51 days. And Joe Namath, here's what that young man has to learn.
I'll tell you, that's right. Chris Singleton's coming into camp. He's got to learn these defenses. Folks, take a look at this playbook. You see that? I mean, these rookies, they miss their camp. They have a lot of catching up to do, and it's not easy. By the way, if you lose this playbook, it still only costs a $500 fine. That's what it was back in 1965, and that may be the only thing that prices have stayed the same on.
Did you ever lose one?
I don't want to admit to it, but I did lose a playbook prior to a Buffalo game once, but please, let's not get into that.
Here's Grogan, lofts it up. He's got a man open, and Stevens, just as he caught up to it, was pounded by Lewis Oliver. Oliver celebrates that hit. He got his helmet off, so everyone could get a good look at him. And he's going to be charged with a penalty as a fight breaks out away from the football as Oliver was celebrating that hit, and it was a good hit. Jarvis Williams discussing things with the official. There's Oliver. He and his former University of Florida teammate Jarvis Williams really enjoy putting the big hits on those receivers, but the penalty will be against Miami. It's unsportsmanlike conduct against the Dolphins. Do you think Don Shula could bite a nail in two right now?
Well, I guess so. Now, I don't know. I don't know who he called that penalty on. But I tell you, it was a fine hit, and Oliver certainly was excited about it. Let's take another look at the play. The ball is hanging in the air, you see, and Oliver can see that. Stevens could only wait on the ball to come down. Now watch the impact of this thing here. Boom. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's a tough hit. Now, does this, if we see Oliver anymore, I wonder if that merits a penalty. I guess it has. Again, I didn't hear who the referee called the penalty on.
Well, Tom Dooley's mic is out, so we couldn't hear, but we have to assume the unsportsmanlike call was against Oliver, who took his helmet off, did several dances down the field, and the Dolphins, instead of stopping New England on that play, now have given the Patriots a first down at their own 33-yard line. Second penalty, 25 yards against Miami. New England has not been penalized. Harriman to the 30.
You know, I don't know whether I agree with that call there, though. I understand we want to keep this thing a lot of sportsmanship and all, but Oliver didn't do a heck of a lot more than these defensive linemen do when they make a sack, or certainly when these wide receivers catch a pass and they get in the end zone and do their little dances. I don't particularly agree with throwing that flag out there. Taking off that helmet, though, may have had something to do with
that was it. That was it. That was Oliver taking the helmet off, and he was called, official word now, for taunting. The penalty for taunting, and it cost the Dolphins dearly. Grogan's pass to Jones, complete. He was at the 20 before he was driven back by Tim McKyer. It'll be a first down for New England as they keep the drive alive thanks to the taunting penalty and that first down catch by Jones.
Beautiful pass. Beautiful pass. Jones got inside McKyer, and Grogan just put the ball right there. If there's one thing you'd want your Miami defense to be able to do that the Patriots are not allowing them to do, that's get to Grogan, put some more pressure on him. But Steve being very smart, and he's getting rid of the ball early for the most part.
13-10 and counting, fourth quarter. New England with the ball leading by 4. Robert Perryman, some tough yards up the middle. John Offerdahl led the defensive charge for Miami.
Yeah, and Alfred Oglesby, the rookie nose tackle out of Houston, had good penetration that time and forced the ball carrier toward Offerdahl. And hey, Offerdahl is always on ready, boy. I mean, his motor is running from the get-go.
Hard to imagine that young man plays the French horn the way he hits. I wouldn't say that to his face, but he is a pretty good musician.
Blows his own horn, huh?
Yeah, he doesn't need much because he is recognized. He's been in the league 4 years, all 4 to the Pro Bowl. Eric Sievers in motion. Handoff to John Stevens. Can't spin away. Taken down on another good tackle by Offerdahl.
Woody Babunas of Low, would you please report to administration? Woody Babunas of Low, would you please report to administration?
Good defense by these Dolphins. They've been playing pretty good defense all day long. Now this last blunder and taking the helmet off and taunting has given the Patriots new life. They have a third down situation now, and Irving Fryer, folks, you hear the fans roar. Irving Fryer has just sprinted from the locker room area along the sidelines over to the bench, and he appears to be just fine.
Fryer had been taken from the field earlier on a stretcher. Grogan. Stevens, nothing. Loss on the play. Stevens had nowhere to go. Hugh Green stacked it up and then got some help. And number 80 is Irving Fryer back on the sideline for the Patriots. That could give him a big lift. He's caught 78 yards worth of Grogan passes today.
It's going to be a 4th down situation.
It's 4th down for New England, and Starofsky is on to attempt another field goal.
It's going to be 4th down.
Tell you, that last play, by the way, you got to give Eric Kumaro some credit. He's in the game, or was in there, and he's the one that set that play up. He read it beautifully.
42-yard attempt. He hit from 42 a moment ago. This is a fake. Mark Wilson, the backup quarterback, took off on the fake and was stopped well short of the first down. Mike Reichenbach, who's had a good game for Miami, not fooled on the fake by Mark Wilson. What was that all about?
That's a mistake. I mean, that is a mistake. I don't know whether they thought it was 3rd down and 2 or 3 and decided to run the option, but that was 3rd down and 13. Obviously, the Dolphins ran a different coverage than they had anticipated. We'll be back in a moment, folks.
Rod Russ going on a 4th down fake field goal attempt that was way short. And his lead stays at 4 as they turn the ball over to the Dolphins.
Well, he's the head coach. He'll take responsibility for it, but I'm not too sure he made that call. I mean, we're talking 4th down and 12 at 13 yards. And let's take a look at this replay. It's not a bad snap. You'll see the holder, Mark Wilson, catch the ball cleanly and get up and run the option play. This is an option play, and Miami was ready for it. That's what I think destroyed their chances, or the Patriots' chances of getting it in, because Miami was ready for this option play.
And he's going to option it to Starofsky?
I know. I tell you, this is a remarkable play. Big blunder.
So the Dolphins have a break. They take over on the 23-yard line. Sammy Smith grinding out the yardage in big-time fashion as he carries 6 Patriots with him for another 1st down. Andre Tippett and Roland James finally horse-collared him to the turf. But Smith closing in on a 150-yard performance. He already has the most rushing by a Miami back in a single game since Delvin Williams against Buffalo in 1978.
Sure, he's getting some holes all right, folks. That offensive line's doing a good job. But watch this lick he lays on Roland James. He's running hard, Sammy Smith. Running as hard as I've seen him run.
He got 15 yards out of that one. Marino across the middle, complete for about 5 yards to Mark Duper. Johnny Rembert back in pass coverage from an outside linebacker spot, stopping Duper before any further damage. It'll be about a 5-yard gain.
Good play on 1st down for the Dolphins, and pretty good defense. I mean, if your quarterback has time to throw a pass, the defense can only hope to hold it to a 5-yard gain, and that's what the Patriots did.
Miami just trails by 4. A touchdown would give them the lead. Had the Patriots succeeded on that 42-yard field goal, the worst that would happen would be a tie. Marino's receiver falls down, and Lepet has his 2nd interception. Smith finally wrestles him down. Sammy Smith was the intended receiver, slipped to the ground, and Lepet has the 3rd interception against Dan Marino, the 2nd of the afternoon for Ronnie Lepet.
It's fooling Marino. We talked about Russ' defense. He gives him different looks. He wants to confuse Marino. He had the interception to the linebacker on the screen. Here, Lepet on the left side of your screen is waiting for the ball. Marino's throwing right into coverage. This has got to be Rod Russ' defense at its best, and putting up those mirrors and giving Marino different looks that he's expecting to get. It's just fine defense. And, well, you'll see one of the best quarterbacks in the game get completely fooled right here with coverage, folks.
Although Sammy Smith, his receiver, did fall down. 4th turnover for the Dolphins. Perryman on the reception from Grogan has a 1st down. 10-yard gain. Williams and Griggs on the tackle.
Sammy Smith fell down, Tom, but you still don't hang that ball up whenever that cornerback is laying right back there. I don't care whether they fell out or not. That cornerback was going to make a play on that ball.
4th turnover of the day for the Dolphins, and Lepet, what a big day he's having back after missing all of last year. He has 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. And so far, New England has gotten 21 points off Miami turnovers. Let's see if they can add to that total.
You think New England wished they'd have kicked that field goal a little while ago?
Wow. In the tailback spot, Stevens gets a yard and will be short of first down. It'll be third and about a yard or two. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the New England Patriots and the National Football League is prohibited.
That'll bring up third down. Ball is inside the 44.
Third down and a little less than a yard as the clock ticks down to the 8-minute mark. 4-point advantage for New England.
Well, this is one of those situations where you make it look like run. If you want to get it on the ground, go ahead, but it's a great time to be able to fake the run and throw the pass.
3 tight ends, one of them Severs in motion. Stevens. It'll be close. It'll depend on the spot of the football. Cliff Odom came up in a hurry, and so did J.D. Brown. Grogan argues his case on the spot, but
I think he has a good argument, too. I thought he had a little bit farther forward progress than where they're spotting the ball.
Now you've got a fourth down decision to make. They eschewed the field goal last possession and try to fake. Rod Rust will have a decision to make here. They don't like the spot, and they'll call a timeout to talk it over. No, they'll send the punt team on.
I like this. I think this is doing the right thing. You don't take a chance now and giving Miami excellent field position. Punt it. The defense is doing a pretty good job. Punt it back into the hole and make the Dolphins march a long way.
First time today New England has not gotten points off a Miami turnover.
Jarvis Williams also dropping back.
Jarvis Williams and Martin are deep for Miami.
We got to back it up.
It'll be fourth down and about 2 feet.
I want to know why they stopped play.
Brian Hansen will be punting. On 4.
Tom Dooley's microphone has been out most of the day.
49-yard line.
Delay of game penalty against New England. I guess they wanted to give Hansen more room to punt without getting it into the end zone. Gets called, they'll just let it bounce, and it will reach the end zone. Touchback. Dolphins will have it at their 20-yard line. One of Miami's priorities today was bottling up John Stevens, the talented running back of New England, and they've done that pretty much today. Miami takes over after a 48-yard punt. Almost intercepted again. Marino almost had another interception as Maurice Hurst broke on the football intended for Duper, almost picked it off. Bob Costas, what's going on?
Tom, in the third quarter at the Coliseum, the Raider defense put 2 touchdowns on the board. First, they brought back an Elway interception for a score, and then here, Vance Johnson fumbles after the catch. Terry McDaniel picks it up and burns 42 yards for another one. They've gone to the fourth. The Raiders have the lead over the Broncos, 14-6. Tom?
All right, Bob, and here at Foxborough, we're locked up in a close one in the fourth quarter. 24-20 New England, 6:41 on the clock. Sammy Smith has returned to the Miami lineup. He's a career-high 148 yards, gets to about 150 before he's stopped. Johnny Rembert down at the bottom of the stack of white New England jerseys.
Rembert, Agnew, Tim Goad, the nose tackle, even got over there that time. I guess these Patriots figure by now when Smith's in there, he's going to get the call. So they better get over there quickly to stop him. Tough third down situation, especially without Mark Clayton and Jim Jensen for the Dolphins in the game.
Duper, Martin, Banks, and Brown, the receivers. Mark Logan in the backfield. Marino's hit 19 of 30. He looks over the New England dime defense. Intercepted and then dropped. They're going to rule an incomplete pass as Ronnie Lepet trapped it. He almost had another one. Junior Robinson was in there to break it up, intended for Andre Brown.
Well, here's a look at Dan Marino trying to make some things happen. He tried to make things happen last year and made some mistakes. Here he moves up and out nicely and then tries to stick it in the middle there, but bad throw, and the defenders are in good shape. It's fortunate for the Dolphins that the Pats couldn't hold on to that one.
Boy, that was a very poor decision. He threw it right to 2 Patriots. Roby to punt. And Sammy Martin deep for New England. Good Roby punt. Martin at the 29. Almost broke away. Just one man able to catch him from behind, E.J. Jr. 49-yard Roby punt. The return covered 11 yards by Sammy Martin.
He didn't get much air under that punt that time, and when you kick the ball on a line drive kind of like that, there's a good chance for a return, and E.J. Jr. saved a very big play that time.
Was a penalty flag down, and Tom Dooley is sorting it out right now. Joe, how do you account for the fact that the Dolphins have gotten the running game they wanted, but it hasn't opened up the passing game? Marino just hasn't been sharp.
We have a post possession holding number 27 on the receiving team. First down. Timeout.
Well, we got Dooley's mic working again. Penalty against the Patriots will set them back when we come back to Foxborough. Producer Tommy Roy and director Brian Sheriff. Tom Hammond along with Joe Namath. Patriots take over. Stevens gets deep to try to turn the corner and can't. He'll be stopped for a loss by Lewis Oliver and Cliff Odom. Right now, let's go to NFL Live and check in with Bob Costas.
Cincinnati, the Jets had a 20-10 lead, then Esiason threw a touchdown pass, and shortly after that, what was Ken O'Brien thinking about? He seemingly makes a beeline for the end zone. David Fulcher sacks him for the safety. Bengals are within 1, 20-19. Back to Tom and Joe.
Thank you, Bob. Bruce Coslet returning to face the Bengals, his old team. Here at Foxborough, 24-20. Clock ticking under 5 minutes now. Steve Grogan and the Patriots clinging to a 4-point lead. They have the ball, 2nd and 12. Stevens now comes wide to the left. And Grogan ducks away from one man and then is taken down by Jeff Cross. 3rd sack of Grogan today, and Cross has 2 of them.
That's the best pass defense you can have, a good rush. A good rush by Cross. Stevens actually was split out to the left, but right now you see they're just getting pressure right up the middle there, and it's a good thing Grogan couldn't get over to the left for the Dolphins' sake, because they had John Stevens isolated on the linebacker. Oh boy, is that leadership on the field with this Patriot team. Grogan's is such an inspirational guy and a tough leader. Well, it's hard to tell exactly what happened to Steve. Had a host of Miami Dolphins back there on him. But if there is any edge between Wilson and Grogan right now, I think it's Grogan's command of his team out on the football field.
Here are the numbers on Mark Wilson last year. He did start 4 games in 1989. Plenty of time. He delivers it, and it's dropped by Martin. Sammy Martin had the ball all the way to the 35-yard line and couldn't hold it.
Unbelievable. I mean, Wilson comes in the game cold. He's put in an awful situation of 3rd down and 20 yards, and he delivers. He delivers a perfect pass to Sammy Martin, but Martin just, for some reason, drops the ball. And what a depressing feeling that is for a quarterback after making such a good throw.
Hansen punts from his end zone. Martin calls for a fair catch and takes it at the 49-yard line of New England. Great field position for the Dolphins after only a 38-yard Hansen punt. So Miami, trailing by 4, gets the ball in Patriot territory with 4:15 left in the game. Well, following the game, NBC News presents a special, The Summit in Helsinki. Watch Tom Brokaw for continuing coverage and a complete wrap-up of the world events on the Summit and on the Persian Gulf crisis. Then coming up, Sunday night movies, Polly, and all the fine NBC lineup on Sunday night here on NBC. Steve Grogan trying to shake out the cobwebs as the Dolphins go on offense with Sammy Smith. Another fine run by Smith. He gets 11 yards and a Dolphin 1st down. Vincent Brown wrestled into the turf.
excellent cutback by Sammy Smith. The Patriots did a good job at the point of attack, took away the hole, but Smith made a brilliant decision and cut back. He's limping, you know. He did hurt himself on that last interception that Lippett made, and he's coming off the field hurting. He sure wasn't hurting on that run, though.
The New England Patriots, before a crowd of some 50,000 at Foxborough Stadium, clinging to a 4-point lead with time running out in the fourth quarter. Mark Logan squirts forward for 5 or 6 yards before he's stopped by Maurice Hurst. The big play in the game may have been New England electing not to go for a 42-yard field goal, instead trying a 4th down fake that fell well short. Miami has taken over, and after the punt from the end zone, they have the ball and driving in New England territory.
And they're not in a hurry. Miami knows they need 7. They have plenty of time to get it, so they're just taking their time and trying to move the ball in the end zone.
Dolphins trying to overcome a day of turnovers and pull it out. Marino finds Tony Page, who lugs it to the 21-yard line. Stopped there by free safety Fred Marion. 11 yards and another Miami first down.
Now the Patriots are being tested now. Marino with the little play action fake holds the linebackers a little bit, and you see Tony Page is able to get out there. If you're a defensive player and you're used to that fullback coming at you and striking, delivering a blow, well, whenever you see the ball action fake, you're getting ready for that blow. Next thing you know, Page is on by him, wide open.
For Marino, a chance for redemption on a not a very good day. Mark Logan carries the ball, and behind good blocking, squirts to the 15-yard line and throws it away. Will they root him in the grasp?
Well, it's grass and control.
And it is. It's ruled a sack at the 40-yard line, taking them out of field goal range. The 4th sack of Grogan today. That was close to interference as Cedric Jones got a hit from Tim McKyer, but it was right as the ball arrived and was a legal play. It'll be 4th down once again.
That play in itself, if these Dolphins are able to hold on to the victory, that play by McKyer right there will erase the touchdown pass to Fryer that McKyer was beaten on. It will, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of sins the Dolphins made today that are going to be forgotten about if they're able to hold on to this lead.
Well, here is Jason Starofsky to attempt a 57-yard field goal.
Maybe they should fake this one.
Got a chance. Just short. The sack made the difference because Starofsky was just short on that one.
That's right. You know, Grogan, I don't know whether they had the opportunity to get rid of the ball or not, but I mean, this ball just barely misses going over the crossbar. Well, he's hoping, he knows he hit it straight, and he's just wondering if it's long enough. No! Oh, tough luck.
Well, he would have been good from 50 had the sack not occurred. Instead, the Dolphins will take over and need only kill 21 seconds to break their 6-game opening game losing streak with a big victory on the road.
Boy, these Boston area newspaper folks are going to have a field day figuring out why the Patriots ever ran a fake field goal attempt with a 4th down and 12 to 13 yards to go.
And with good reason.
Oh, boy, yes.
Well, Miami will break that 6-game opening game losing streak and return home to face Buffalo next week, while New England will go on the road at Indianapolis. Don Shula told us he hoped to turn this team around. That's why he signed a new deal with the Dolphins. Dan Marino didn't have a good day with 3 interceptions, but threw a perfect pass for the go-ahead touchdown. The Dolphin defense, clinging and scratching, manages to hold off and get a key sack to take the New England Patriots out of field goal range. And now only 8 seconds remain in the football game.
To 13 seconds. We have timeout, New England. 13 timeout.
New England takes its final timeout. Gives us a chance to tell you that the executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of NFL football, John Faratzis. Today's game in New England. Warshaw production associate Tom Bowman, and technical manager Ernie DeRosa. Thanks to all our folks in New England, especially our spotters and staff people here in the booth, for an excellent job on opening week of the NFL season. Give you a recap of the scores now. Here are the finals that we have in so far on our 10-minute ticker.
One is an eligible receiver.
As you look at the scores, we'll tell you that Miami will just kill the clock because New England is out of timeouts.
That'll be the end of...
See the seconds ticking away. Joe, put the first game in perspective for us.
I think both teams have to feel good about their effort out there. They're both improved football teams. Certainly the Dolphins won it. The 5 defensive starters have really lifted, their new starters have really lifted this Miami defense. Offensively, I tell you, the play of young Richmond Webb and Keith Sims in the offensive line, and the entire offensive line just was brilliant for the Dolphins. Sammy Smith, hey, he's running better than we've seen him run. Of course, he's getting some holes. Again, Patriots are going to lose, but I don't think they could be too depressed about this, Tom. I think the Pats right now are better.
Kick scored touchdowns as the Dolphins won their second 34-13. Then came the Vikings. From the opening kickoff, it was a bruising battle. On their very first series, Fran Tarkington burned Miami with the bomb, and Minnesota led. But the Dolphin defense, led by Nick Buonaconte, number 85, kept Miami in the game by sacking Tarkington 5 times and taking away the long pass by employing a 5th defensive back in Shula's nickel secondary. Garo Yepremian's long-range field goals of 38, 42, and 51 yards kept his team close, but Miami trailed with less than 2 minutes left. Then Bob Greasy, in a masterpiece of clutch passing, moved the Dolphins downfield. Miami's great come-from-behind victory was their 3rd straight and left them the only undefeated team in pro football. The season's 4th Sunday was in New York's Shea Stadium, where the Dolphins completely stymied Joe Namath with their 53 defense. Bob Matheson, number 53, dropping back like a linebacker or rushing in like an end.
Is taken complete. Hart Lee Dykes into Dolphin territory at the 45-yard line. Lewis Oliver covers him, but it went for 18 yards as the clock ticks away. And now the official calls a timeout, and perhaps they're reviewing that play in the replay booth to see if it were a trap or not. I'm not sure.
That's legit. Sure, I didn't get a good look at it, and I'm looking at it right here on television with the rest of you folks. I'm not sure that ball didn't hit the ground. Take another look at it. You'll see Dykes come back to the ball, and it's going to be close. Does he get his hands underneath the ball? Looks good from here so far.
Looked like a good catch to me too, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Tommy Roy and Brian Sheriff with that good end zone angle, and you can see his hands underneath the ball.
The Dolphins are playing with 6 defensive backs out there, and it's good to have all your defensive backs out there, but you need to get some pressure on the quarterback in these critical situations here. Let's take another look and see if we can see anything differently. Hey, from there, I can't see anything conclusive or inconclusive, and it's going to stay with the call unless we can clearly see the ball hit the ground, and I can't tell myself from here.
Remember, there is a 2-minute limit on reviews this year, so I would think that time limit would be rapidly approaching. Rod Rust hopes so and hopes it stays the same. 2 big blunders by his team, a drop pass and a fake field goal attempt that went awry.
After further review, the play will stand as called. First down.
Play stands as called, and New England has it with a first down in Dolphin territory at the Miami 48-yard line. Grogan's pass way overshoots the mark. He and Stevens messed up on the route, I think, because Stevens broke inside and Grogan appeared to expect him down the sideline.
Yeah, but that ball was so far down the sideline, I don't think Stevens could have ever gotten to it. And Stevens was looking for the ball over his shoulder there, so communications were fouled up. Tommy Hodgson, the ex-LSU quarterback, giving all those signals and hand movements for Grogan. And it's interesting that Grogan used to call the plays, Tom. When he wasn't playing, now he's playing, and he doesn't call them.
He said he was still learning this offense, too. A minute 8. Incomplete. Cedric Jones drew double coverage down the left sideline. J.B. Brown was closest to him. So Grogan now faces a third down from the Dolphin 48. Clock shows 1:03.
Third down and 10 from the 48.
With 6 defensive backs in there, it's hard to get a receiver open, but I would think you'd try to hit those crossing patterns. There's more room to run, to adjust to the ball. They're working down the sidelines. Maybe a little concern with the clock, but I don't think that's a major issue right now. They need to try and hit a receiver going across that field to get the first down.
That pass incomplete. Intended for Cedric Jones again. J.B. Brown covering the pass behind Jones.
Take another look at this. The fans here wanted some interference, and you'll see on the left side of your screen J.B. Brown very close to Cedric Jones, and I don't see a foul. He has his hand up there, but that ball was thrown so far behind the receiver he couldn't have made that catch anyway.
So it's come down to a 4th down play with 58 seconds left. Dolphins lead the Patriots by 3. Rod Rust in his first game as a head coach facing a 3-point deficit, 4th and 10 from the Dolphin 48-yard line. 37-year-old Steve Grogan tries to pull one out and asks for a timeout to discuss it on the sideline.
Well, he was down to 1 second on that play clock, Tom. He would have gotten a penalty there and made it 4th and 15, and he sure didn't want to do that.
Toys R Us, keep going contest winner.
2 big plays in the game by the New England Patriots. Fake field goal that didn't work and a drop pass that put them in this situation, and try to pull it out with a 4th down play. Well, the kids are in school. Football is in the air. The start of a new fall TV season is upon us. NBC's premiering some of their new shows this week, and the hottest show, one that the critics have liked so much so far, premieres tomorrow night. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, followed by the series preview of Ferris Bueller. That's coming up tomorrow night here on NBC. Steve Grogan is conferred on the sideline. He and Hartley Dykes trot back out into the huddle. It's 4th and 10 New England. Miami leads 27-24. Don Shula's team has just taken the lead on the last series, a touchdown pass by Marino. And with 58 seconds left, Shula's defense tries to hold New England one final time. It's complete. First down, New England. Greg McMurtry made the catch. The rookie from Michigan with a 4th down grab over Rodney Thomas, and New England is still in business.
A clutch play, huh? Was that a clutch play or what? Grogan stays calm in the pocket and lays it out there to the left side. You'll see McMurtry coming across the screen. Well, maybe we won't see him. He's so fast. There he is. Reaches back for the ball. What a play, huh?
McMurtry, the 4th all-time leading receiver at Michigan, caught 111 there, but none bigger than this in his first pro game. New England spends its 2nd timeout, stopping the clock with 51 seconds left. The ball spotted at the 34-yard line of the Dolphins as McMurtry, with his first NFL reception, gives New England a first down.
Oh, I could just imagine what's going through the Patriot kicker Starofsky's mind right now. I'm sure he's trying to keep calm over there in the sidelines, but it's getting down to the situation that the game may be on the line for him to tie it. I got a feeling he's hoping that the Patriots score a touchdown, you know?
Takes the pressure off. And what about that combination on that fourth down play? The rookie Peach Fuzz McMurtry on the receiving end of Graybeard Grogan.
That's good.
New England has one timeout left. 51 ticks of the clock remaining. Fourth quarter at Foxborough. Dolphins lead by 3.